For 8 long years, the boy kept touching his ear. It wasn't dramatic, just a small movement, almost unnoticeable, but it happened every day. Every doctor who saw him said the same thing. "There's nothing we can do." His father heard those words more times than he could count, and every time they hit him the same way, like a door slamming shut. Oliver Hart wasn't an ordinary man. He was a billionaire, private jets, boardrooms, deals worth more than entire cities, but none of that mattered because his son had never heard a sound, not a voice, not laughter. Not even his own name. Shah Hart was born deaf. The day Shah entered the world, Oliver lost his wife. Catherine died from complications during childbirth. Oliver still remembered holding her hand, begging her to stay. Her lips moved. She tried to speak. No sound came out, just like their son. That silence became the soundtrack of Oliver's life. Guilt wrapped around his heart and never let go. If he had chosen a different hospital, if he had pushed harder, if he had paid more attention, maybe she'd still be alive. Maybe Shah would be different. So Oliver did the only thing he knew how to do. He threw money at the pain. Millions, Johns Hopkins, Switzerland, Tokyo, doctors who charged thousands per hour. Machines that hummed and beeped, rooms filled with charts and scans, they all said the same thing. Congenital, irreversible, accept it, accept it. How could a father accept that his son would never hear his mother's name, that Shah would never hear his father say, "I'm sorry I couldn't save her"? So Oliver kept searching, kept flying, kept writing checks. He prayed to God in private jets and hospital corridors, and God stayed silent, or so he thought, because the answer wasn't coming from a specialist. It was coming from the woman he hired to clean his floors. Her name was Victoria. She was 27 years old, no medical degree, no authority, no power. Just a maid trying to keep her grandmother alive in a nursing home she could barely afford. Victoria arrived at the Hart mansion on a cold October morning. 40 acres of land, perfect gardens. Tall white columns. From the outside it looked like a dream. Inside it felt like grief had settled into the walls. No music, no television, no laughter. Servants spoke in whispers. They had learned quickly. Mr. Hart liked silence. Victoria noticed the boy on her first day. Shah sat on the marble staircase, lining up toy cars perfectly. He didn't look up, didn't react. But Victoria saw something others had learned to ignore. The way his fingers brushed his right ear. Again, and again. And every time a flicker of pain crossed his face, she said nothing. But something in her heart tightened. Days passed. Victoria cleaned quietly. Floors, windows, hallways that echoed with absence. Shah always sat alone. Other servants avoided him. Not because they were cruel, but because they were afraid. Afraid of breaking rules, afraid of getting attached. Victoria wasn't afraid. She saw loneliness. She saw a child watching life through glass. One afternoon, Shah struggled with a model airplane. The wing wouldn't fit. His frustration boiled over. Victoria hesitated. She'd been warned. But she knelt anyway. She fixed the wing and slid it toward him. Shah looked up. For the first time, he smiled. It was small, fragile, but it broke something open inside her. That night, Victoria couldn't sleep. The next morning, she left a folded paper bird where Shah sat. She didn't wait. The next day, the bird was gone. In its place, a note. 2 shaky words, "Thank you." Victoria pressed it to her chest. "God," she whispered, "let me help this child." Weeks passed. A secret language formed, candy wrappers, drawings, small signs only they understood, safe. That was Shah's favorite sign. But kindness makes enemies in places ruled by fear. The head housekeeper warned her. "You're crossing a line. This child can't be fixed. Get attached and you'll lose everything." Victoria tried to listen. Then one morning she saw it clearly. Shah sat outside, crying silently. Both hands pressed to his ear. Victoria rushed to him. She tilted his head gently toward the light, and there it was, deep inside his ear, something dark, dense, wrong. Her breath stopped. How had no doctor seen this? Memory hit her like lightning. Her cousin Marcus, deaf for 6 years, written off, until someone finally looked. One simple procedure, a new world. Shah panicked when she mentioned doctors. "They hurt me. They never help." Victoria promised she wouldn't hurt him. That night she didn't sleep. If she acted, she could lose her job, her freedom. Her grandmother's care. If she didn't, a child would keep suffering in silence. She prayed and decided. The next evening Oliver was away. The mansion was quiet, then a sound, a thud. Shah lay on the floor, shaking. Victoria didn't think, she acted. She used the sterilized tweezers she'd prepared days ago. Her hands shook. God, guide me. Slowly, carefully, resistance. Then release. The blockage came free, years of silence resting in her palm. Shah gasped. A real sound. He sat up suddenly, pointed to the clock. Tick, he whispered. Victoria collapsed into tears. Then footsteps thundered. Oliver stood frozen, blood, tweezers, his son shaking. Security grabbed her. Shah screamed. At the hospital, truth exploded. The blockage had been seen years ago, ignored. Because treatment was profitable, Oliver shattered. He returned to Victoria, fell to his knees. I'm sorry. You saw my son when I didn't. They returned together. Shah heard music for the first time. He ran to Victoria. Thank you, he said. Oliver held his son and cried loudly. And that day, a billionaire learned what Kindness Valley exists to remind us all. Miracles don't always come from power. They come from compassion, not from money, from attention. Sometimes, the quietest person in the room changes everything.